Welcome to Sheer Growth Podcast. This is James Sheerin. I'm your host. And on today's episode, I'm joined by Gayle Kalvert, the founder and CEO of Creo Collective, a full service B2B growth marketing agency built for ambitious tech brands looking to scale with clarity and strategy. And Gayle brings over 2 decades of experience in B2B marketing and has built Creo to bridge the gap between strategic thinking and real execution. So today we're going to unpack what it really takes to scale a modern marketing agency in 2026, from positioning to pipeline to operational growth. Great to have you here, Gayle.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here, James. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
My founder story. Well, I can say first off, I never thought I would be a founder. It was not part of my dream anyway. I graduated college, moved to New York City, ready to achieve all my dreams at the time, which meant climbing the corporate ladder and ultimately becoming a C-level something. That was my goal. But I'll date myself a little bit because this was late 90s, early 2000. So I thought I couldn't wait to like wear the power suit, the briefcase, right? Like things have changed a
Suits.
lot, which I'm
Yeah,
very grateful for. Happy to not be wearing a power suit and carrying a briefcase every day.
yeah.
But yeah, that's what I did. So I spent about 15 years in corporate, more than a decade at Deloitte, working with companies like IBM's, like big tech companies, and then moved into more like medium sized growth software companies. I started in marketing and then I transitioned into business development. I actually carried a quota for some time, which has been really informative in the way that we help our clients. Now I am a marketer who loves sales. And I think that's really critical to sort of see those two as one comprehensive piece that will drive growth.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a great story. And going to New York, wearing the suit, I get all that dream. I had the same, with London in the UK. You're from a smaller city and you want to go to the big city and work towards achieving those high, ambitious goals. So I'm interested to know then, what made you start up Creo? Like, what gap did you see in the market that led you to build Creo?
Well, first off, in 2016, I was laid off. So, when you talk about like what was your founder journey, and it wasn't something that I had thought about doing at all in at least the first decade of my career. But as I worked my way up the ladder and I really saw how little control we have over our careers, no matter how much you're killing it for that company, that's when my wheels started to turn and say, I'm working really hard here. And how is it that I could work really, really hard, overachieve on every goal, win sales awards for 180% of quota, right? All of this good stuff, and then get laid off. So I thought, I've got a choice here, right? I can either go get another gig like this and hope to get some early equity at a software company, basically hope and pray that everything would go right and I could have a big payday one day, or I could take a shot and go out on my own. And so that's what I did. I took the opportunity to start my own business. And honestly, James, I had no capital, had no savings, I had no investors. So I thought, what can I do with my brain and my laptop? That's it. And so I took what I knew, which was B2B tech, and I knew that as a marketer, I was always being saved by incredible freelance marketers, writers, and I started out as a copywriter. So I went out to my friends in software and started to freelance copyright, really simple like that. And then over time, grew that into what was originally a copywriting agency because I really saw, like to your question, what is the pain out there that I really wanted to solve? Was I really wanted to solve the pain for marketing leaders. Like marketers have to know so many things to be successful and it's under so much pressure and constantly being perceived as a cost center, even though we know marketing can be a growth engine. And I really wanted to alleviate some of that stress. So it started as a copywriter, then we grew into a copywriting agency, and I brought on freelance writers to start filling that increased demand for writing from clients. And then thankfully, I had the foresight to see that copywriting might not be mission critical forever. Spoiler alert, AI. And
Absolutely.
so I expanded beyond copywriting into more of a full service marketing agency to where we are now.
That's a really interesting kind of point that you made about being employed, having that corporate job, feeling like you're safe, and then you get made redundant. You're a top performer, you're doing everything right, you're doing everything by the book, and then like that, you're just a number on a sheet and you're gone. And that's it. And they don't care. They just care about the balance sheet at the end of the day. And I think this misconception that, yeah, there are some industries which you can, especially in the US, like the medical industry, they get paid a ridiculous amount of money to do what they do. But I think in other industries, you can just get, you're just a number on a sheet. And when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. But so you took back control of your life and said, no, I'm not going to be controlled by the hamster wheel. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to use my skill set, and I'm going to see what I can deliver. And you've not looked back. And you've built a great agency so far. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
There's many agencies out there, and copywriting was one, and you pivoted. So what did you want to do differently from traditional agencies?
When I first graduated college, I worked at a public relations agency for a couple of years. Otherwise, I was hiring agencies in my roles. So I didn't come to this with extensive experience working at an agency or having a mentor that ran an agency. That is something that, full disclosure, has been the biggest challenge for me. But I think it's a benefit also, because when I started this endeavor and I decided, okay, it's going to go beyond me into an agency, I've been very clear and grounded in the fact that most agencies have a really bad rap for overworking their people and underpaying them. And that was not going to be Creo Collective. Because number one, I don't want to work at a place like that. I will never ask people to give me huge portions of their life to work with me and then do that to them, right? Like, first of all, we're human beings and should have a better
Yeah.
experience. And also, what is your client going to get in their experience if the people on the team are overworked and underpaid? So when I incorporated, it was 4 years ago that we officially incorporated Creo Collective. I really have taken the best that I learned from corporate, which was the learning, the mentoring. There's so much that is amazing. I highly recommend, if anybody's listening to this and wants to be an entrepreneur, to learn first on somebody else's dime. Go work for other companies. Like, if you've got a great idea and you want to be an entrepreneur at 21, like, go for it. But like, it's good to go out there and learn. What is it that works? What is it that doesn't work? And so there was a ton that was amazing about my experience in corporate. And at Creo, we're a collective. So what that means is we have a core group of team members that are full time. And then we have a literal collective of freelancers that we bring onto client engagements based on what marketing function, like what kinds of marketing our clients need, and what part of the tech sector they're focused on. That way, our clients are getting subject matter experts in the discipline of marketing they need and in their personas and their ICP, and they don't have to spend time teaching us that stuff. It would be incredibly expensive and impossible to do that with all full-time team members. So the collective allows us to bring our clients like exactly the talent they need at an investment that is reasonable. And so I really wanted to give these freelancers that work at Creo some of that same experience I had in corporate. They don't typically get that. They're out on their own. And so we've brought a lot of that to Creo. We'll have a monthly virtual where we bring a client in and it's like, what is your day to day like? What keeps you up at night? Like, making sure that people who might feel like they're just sitting at their computer doing what they love to do are actually staying fresh, understanding things are changing so fast. I really, really think it's important, and it's paid off, because if your people are happy, then typically your clients are happier too, right?
This is so right. And you've labeled a couple of things there which stood out for me, and strong things around your agency being you want to pay people correctly, you don't want to overwork them. What would you say is the strongest part of your agency, and what makes you special to work for?
Yeah, well, the reason people come to us, and a lot of my clients want to come to us, and like, we kind of need you on the client side, though. We can't hire everybody.
Yeah.
Is number one, because the culture really does matter. I'm actually amazed. And again, maybe this is my age, but when I was looking for jobs, I didn't talk to people. I didn't talk to my potential employer about like wanting to do something that I felt really passionate about. It was just like, I wanted to get a job.
Yeah.
And there is such a focus, and I think it's great, like such a focus today on people wanting to make sure that they are doing work that they actually enjoy. And so many people say, like, with people I like. You don't have to be best friends, but like you want to be in a sort of environment that is not, soul crushing, right? We work a lot of hours. So I think that first and foremost, the culture comes through. I'm told all the time, like it comes through even digitally, like that you guys sort of enjoy what you do and have fun together. But practically speaking, and as far as the marketing is concerned, I made sure even when we were like a party of two people, and then we became five people, and then we became 15 people, that I brought the organization that I actually learned when I was an employee at Deloitte to Creo. And it doesn't have to be expensive, but it's so simple, as in the model was if we have somebody who's coming onto a client, they need to be able to do the work at like the highest level quickly. They can't spend 3 hours trying to find the file, trying to understand what's the brief. If you've ever been a freelancer, as I have, the client gets exactly what they prepare you for. So if you're a freelancer and you're working for a client and they're totally disorganized, it's going to cost them a lot more money to get the work product that they wanted than if they had a brief, it was prepared, they had a deadline, they're organized. So that's the way we think about it at Creo. It's like, how can we make sure that everybody can come to work, do their job as easily as possible? I don't want them spending time on admin, right? Admin's expensive. I want them to spend their time on doing work for, their clients, and then either learning, educating, or, we do like to have fun, so socializing.
That's good. Fun's always a good part of it. And you mentioned clients there. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about who your ideal client is and what trends are you seeing at the moment in your industry?
Well, our ideal clients are B2B technology companies. Typically, they are enterprise software, SaaS companies. We do also work with professional services like consultancies, but really it's enterprise software companies. And everybody loves to talk about revenue size, right? Like, well, we're looking for clients of this revenue and above. And I find that the wrong way to look at least for us, because of the way we partner with our clients and that we're going to put a team together that's custom really for you. We find that the best clients are companies that have at least four people in their marketing department. So if you are listening right now and you are a founder, CEO, and you have one person who is your marketer, I got to tell you, that person's life is a living hell, just FYI, every single time. When you have one, you're like, we just need a marketer. We just need a head of marketing. They'll handle it. They'll bring on contractors. It's just impossible. And what it shows us, because believe me, I've taken those clients at the beginning. You're going to just take the client because you need the work and you're growing the business and you want to keep your people working. But every single time, we cannot be successful for that company because there's no long-term commitment. It's always like we're not getting the leads or we're not getting the demos. Quick, we have to pivot. Let's look over there. Let's stop doing that. Let's start doing this instead of revenue, because there are companies that do almost no marketing and they have amazing revenue numbers. That revenue alone isn't the indicator for me.
What else is an indicator for you then?
So the appetite for investment in marketing. There are a lot of agencies out there, especially if it's like a niche, like we do a one specific thing that you need this plug and play capability. I'm like SEO, or like I don't want to falsely name anyone. But if you're an agency that is offering a niche like repeatable solution, that's totally different. That's not how we go to market. We partner with companies who are looking for subject matter experts in their industry. And the simplest way to say it is to augment their team. We've got a strategy, we have revenue goals, we believe in marketing, but we're missing something, we're missing people, we're missing skill set, whatever that is. That's where we really do our best work.
Yeah, that's where you thrive. So what's working well for you as an agency? What are the kind of key highlights that you could give us over the last, let's say, 6 to 12 months?
Things change every 2 weeks in marketing, James. So like you, like 6 months ago,
Yeah.
I can't even remember what
All
month
right.
it is
The last
now.
2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. In the last 2 weeks, James, I'll tell you. Well, a couple of things. I know you want to talk about AI a bit as well, right? I mean,
Sure.
if again, like from the founder standpoint, what I'm focused on is how can we provide the very best marketing services, right? Our costs as low as possible, which, it sounds obvious. It's really hard to do at an agency when you're not selling a product, because you need to pay people their worth, and for all the reasons we just talked about, so that that client is getting a good experience. My challenge, and I think where we've done well, is having a mix. So we have very like senior talent based in the US, in London, UK. We serve Canada as well. And then I've built a team in the Philippines as well. And so that team, which has gone incredibly well, I had zero idea how that was going to go. Started with a little experiment, like, let me see what this virtual assistant thing is about. And ultimately, through sheer belief that we could make it work, that we could build a team in the Philippines and work with them exactly how we work with our local talent. And that is what's made the difference. Because again, we're able to attract top talent in the Philippines because they're respected and collaborate and work with us. It's not like a, take this and do it overnight scenario. And that team that we've built really powers our own sales and marketing at Creo, like how we go to market. And I am working now on expanding that team to be on clients as well in a hybrid model. So we will always have local talent. We have to have local talent. We have to have subject matter expertise, right? That is like living and experiencing the market. We also have to be price competitive, as you know, like AI is bringing the price down for everything. And AI is just not going to be, AI is not, I mean, maybe one day, but AI is not going to replace subject matter expertise that we need from local talent. So anybody who thinks we can get rid of the people and just have the robots is out of their mind. I will not subscribe to that.
I think it's a common theme with many of the conversations I'm having is that the actual subject matter or the actual creative and that understanding that relationship will not it's not going to be replaced anytime soon, that's for sure. So those agencies that might be worried, oh, AI, it's going to stop my growth, or my clients are now going to use AI and don't need my services. Well, actually, no, if you're an expertise in your field, they're still going to come to you because, like you said, that subject matter, which is really important to be able to deliver the great work. And you said something about VAs there, and I think it's an underrated resource that many agencies need to tap into. I've been doing it for around 7 years now, and it's fantastic because they are excellent at what they do. The different skill sets depending on whether you're looking for copy. The language is perfect in terms of the English language, but anything from copy to advertising to design to sales, every facet of your agency can be covered by utilizing outsourced talent. I think you're very attuned to that. So well done for jumping on that. And you mentioned about AI, so I'm going to angle this now into AI.
Okay.
I'm interested, how are you using AI internally? Not just for clients, but in your operations?
I use AI for every single thing I do. I'm not using AI right now for our conversation.
I was going to say, are you
These are
AI
all my
Gayle?
own thoughts. I didn't even prep in AI, but I will say otherwise I use AI. I mean, probably 90% of my entire life, literally. I tell my kids, like, the best thing I can do for you is get you on AI. Never mind this, like, don't use AI. It's like quite the opposite, right? I mean, there's so many ways that it can make you better, faster, smarter. So we use it internally, like in every way, right? So as a business owner, I can tell you, James, I'm standing up basically a new service area inside Creo. I created a business plan for that service area in 45 minutes. When I was at Deloitte, do you know how long it took me to put together a business plan? And I was
Weeks.
working with the best minds, but it's not just about Deloitte, but at any company. I mean, it would have taken weeks, and like the research and where do I find the data and all this stuff. And so the time savings as a business owner, also the education that you get as a business owner. So I, again, will just be totally transparent. Yeah, I'm the CEO. I'm also the CMO. I'm also the CFO. I'm also the COO. I don't want to be all of those things, right? That is just the nature of budgets. Not quite ready to invest in some more C-level executives or anything for that matter. I had to take over all of our financials a few months ago for a bunch of reasons we can have another episode about. I had to take over the financials. It was not good. I have zero experience in accounting, right? I majored in economics at Bucknell. I was not statistical. I basically could tell you some theory, macro, micro. I had no clue what I was doing. And if this had happened before I don't know what would have happened to my business actually, because I was able to literally like take the information that I'm getting from my accountant, put it into ChatGPT or AI and say, what does this mean? Like, can you tell me as like a layman? That's just one example. I do this all the time in all these different functional areas because if you're running an agency, you sort of have to know a little of everything. That's been the biggest thing for me in my role. Client service, we use it for everything from jumping off, like doing research, aggregating messaging points. Like you're getting all this data from your client. And just again, it's the time saving to really accelerate how much more quickly you can get back with deliverables because you can sort of aggregate, get analysis. I never want AI to do anything that involves opinions or subjectivity. I mean, sometimes objectively they're even wrong. I was like, yo, 12 plus 12 is 24. Like, you got that wrong. So you do really have to have the time and check the work, which is why you need subject matter experts to be using these tools so that they know when to say, like, oh, that's not right. And how to like advise. I always think of it as like my entry level person. Like, I'm going to advise you. Here's what we're trying to achieve. Give it a good brief, like we talked about, and then the work product is better.
I agree. And you mentioned about all the hats that you have to wear, the CMO, the CFO, the COO. And I honestly believe that agency model is going to change over the next few years and that
Okay.
we're eventually going to have the founder and then multiple prompters wearing all these hats that's going to be managing different departments. And you're going to see the agencies be a lot leaner and you're going to have expertise that are going to be doing the client delivery, which sounds like it's the kind of structure you already have at the moment, but you have
Hmm.
a lot of the kind of other roles with your VA team as well. But I think AI will evolve that way to make agencies even more leaner and deliver great results as well for your clients. You said this about a challenge there that it really stood out, that you came across a challenge with the finances, and without AI, you don't know where you would have been or what would have happened to the agency. What other challenges have you had to face recently in your agency, or what are there any ongoing right now? Because we're founders of agencies, there are many challenges that we're or fires that we're trying to put out, and I think it's always quite a good thing to kind of share with people those challenges.
Don't have any challenges, James. There's no problems. Agency life is so relaxing. I mean, it's so chill. It's so chill. Yeah. If I could go
Yeah,
back and say, I would tell my former self, are you totally insane? Like, why did you think that creating a marketing agency was a good idea, Gail? But I am very happy about that I'm doing it because every day is brand new. I would say, number one, my biggest challenge is that no day is ever repetitive. I mean, you all remember when you had a job and you get the new job and it's so overwhelming. But at some point, you're like, oh, great, I can kind of multitask on that call. Like I just sort of, that never happens ever anymore for me. Every day, every call, every situation is honestly is different. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me know if I can solve that challenge. Other challenges, I mean, honestly, like it is unbelievably it's expensive again to have like top talent. Um, but it has gotten easier with like the more experience, right? I guess that I have, that we understand our clients and being able to find better people that are better fits. Like you might not need like the most talented, right? C-level person. It's personally, I want to work with people who are smart and curious. And you don't have to have done what it is that we do. You need to have, like I said, some in our situation, like you need to understand the B2B tech market, but like everything else you can learn if you are curious and you are, like quick and smart. Other challenges, I would say diversifying. That's what I'm working on now. The first 4 years of our business, like pipeline, which I sound like my own clients. That's why I get it. Their biggest challenge is pipeline and leads and sales. That's 100% our biggest challenge. I personally feel there's so many agencies, right? How do you break through? Sorry for the cliche, but like, how do you build trust with your buyer in a world where like we typically don't see anybody in person very often? How do you then, secondly, let that buyer know really quickly what kind of marketing or when they should call you because there are so many marketing agencies and which is the right one? Who do I call? Um, and then, like I said, pipeline because we don't have a salesperson. And like, how do you get the leads? How do you build your pipeline? Like initially, typically you start out, it's like your warm network, it's your relationships, it's referrals. And then you get to the point where like we had to build an organization to service great clients. Well, then you need to keep all those people busy. And that has been really difficult. I'm still figuring it out, but we are bringing on our first, I'll say like I call it a relationship manager next week, basically a salesperson, but marketers don't want to be sold to. So yeah, because it was like at some point I thought, and look, should we be totally honest? Like I'm taking a hit on my salary to give this person a salary. Like, I mean, that is the real world of agencies. I know I'm not the only
You
one.
have to do it.
Like,
Yeah.
I got to do something. So I'm going to take less money home. I'm going to bring this person on because by God, I hope that that is investment is then going to provide us with more
Yeah. It's
stability.
investing for, yeah, the
Stability.
stability,
So, like,
pipeline revenue.
yeah. And like another stupid word like future proofing. Like, that is what I stress about. Like, you could be doing everything right, but are we built so that, when something hits, because something always does, right? Whether it was AI came out and every founder said they didn't need marketing agencies anymore. Like things happen in the world, technology, whatever it is, are we going to withstand that? That's what I
Yeah.
worry about.
No, and I appreciate you being so honest about that. I think it's really refreshing to show vulnerability of being a founder and to share those those challenges with people as well, because I think a lot of founders feel the same. I really appreciate you sharing that. So if we talk about 2026 vision and growth ceiling, you've made that investment in getting someone to support from a relationship manager perspective, stroke sales. So what does a breakthrough 2026 look like for Creo?
But this is how I roll, James, tell everybody everything. Our revenue last year was about 700,000, but you and I spoke earlier and revenue is a bullshit number. I mean, what is
Yeah,
your profitability? That is the first thing I learned when I became a CFO. It was a very exciting day for me and I felt embarrassed actually. I was like, I cannot believe that I've been owning an agency for at that point like 3 years. I was like, what are you talking about? But better late than never. So profitability is really what we care about. And so that's where my focus always is. Like, yes, of course, we need a certain revenue number to support our business. But if we're not at like 60% profitability, and I know there's all different ways you can, what does that mean? Profitability for different agencies. But if we're not at a certain amount of profitability, that revenue basically means nothing. We could be losing money and not have any cash. So when I think about 2026 and what would a breakout year be for me, it would be to make sure that we are hitting our profitability number all year, which I know if you don't know what that means, you will know what clients like scope creep means, like not having those clients where you're burning more budget and time than you projected. And we made huge changes last year to make sure that that happens. And also, aside from the number, I mean, this contributes to the numbers, but I'm diversifying Creo. And that is what really, for me, is a standout year because it's not just about the numbers, but our ability to be around for the long term. So I brought on talent very specifically in partner marketing and event marketing, like functional areas of marketing that I know how much pain there is and how much they need help. But I was never able to find the right people to bring on, and I have. So that enables me to stand up 2 service areas that we weren't servicing before. And then we also my whole background is in partner marketing, partner. And so I've experienced firsthand how partners can really exponentially improve your financial situation without a lot of investment. And so we just partnered with an organization that effectively is a proposal machine for us to the public sector, the government, right? Government agencies. And those are like large contracts. So when you get them, they're fantastic, but they take a long time and a lot of work to propose. So for
and
like a
does it?
pretty small investment, I now have basically a sales team that I don't have to manage. I don't have to pay salaries for. And so all of that revenue that would come in, they get a percentage and then we, revenue share. That the plan is that that would have a great impact.
You've mentioned two great things that you've kind of outsourced to kind of deliver more revenue. The event marketing is interesting as well because a lot of my background's in event marketing, having worked for a number of experiential marketing agencies
Mm,
as
mhm.
a sales and marketing director. So that's something I'm sure we can talk about at another time. As we approach the end of the podcast, I always like to talk about the growth, and you've really shared a lot about growth and been so honest about that. So thank you for sharing that. Where can people find out about you, Gal? Because you're an interesting founder. You've got a lot of honesty and transparency, which I really love. And I would love for people to find out more about you and your company.
Well, thank you. Well, it's easy, GayleKalvert.com. One thing yeah, I mean, because obviously my company is Creo Collective. You can go to creocollective.io, but it's all linked from GayleKalvert.com. I think that this is something I'm working on, James, just, I would say in addition to Creo, but that's not the point. The point is now I find, and I love it, is that, like, we're no longer, like, work people and, personal people, like, it's all one thing. Like, when I was growing up in corporate, right, it was like you were corporate, and then, like, you weren't working, it was like, "Woo," right? Well, now, like, my life is all just one, really, like, integrated, like, experience, like, which I love. It's like bringing my personal life into my work. I am always super honest and vulnerable, and I prefer it that way. It's the reason I live in New York. I, like, prefer when people just, like, to give me the real deal. Like, in New York, we know. It's like, are we vibing or are we not? Okay, cool. That's the way I roll at work and in my personal life. So I have a podcast called Work in Progress, which is about, like, just being a human and all the things that really it's for people who are, working hard, juggling a million things like we all are. And what I wanted to do was help people kind of selfishly like myself, be less stressed and feel less alone. Like you're not the only one. So if you're listening to this and you're an agency founder and I've told you something that you feel like, oh, thank God it's not just me. That's what I like to do in all aspects of my life because I've spent a lot of time asking myself, like, is it just me? Or like, I feel like this is just me. And by doing that and being really honest, I have met incredible people and learned so much. And ultimately felt like way less stressed because everybody is winging it. Like everybody is winging it.
Yeah. And I love that. It's so refreshing, and I think that's testament to you and your personality, really, that you've got this podcast to kind of like show. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be tuning into that. But also,
Okay.
I love the authenticity behind it because I think in business where there's so many people just trying to sell stuff all the time, but actually people miss out on the relationship and the vibe that you get off someone. And if you get a vibe, then actually that connection can lead to potential work in the future anyway. Or
Yeah.
it could lead to, oh, I know someone that could do with your X, Y,
Right.
and Z.
We're all a collective, right? And that's what saved me a million times in this founder journey is like, hey, do you know someone who could do that? And like that's the best because then you're putting people in areas where they love what they're doing. And I mean, we just kicked off Marketing in Progress at Creo, which is a podcast, and that's about B2B tech marketing, but same ethos. Like nobody's coming on that show to tell us how great they are. But it's marketers talking to other marketers like this to say what is really working. Cause that's what we hear from our clients all the time. Like they're in a silo. They don't know what other marketing leaders are doing. And you go on LinkedIn and don't we all kind of just want to like vomit in our mouth a little bit? Like everybody's like, oh,
Oh,
like I'm humbled by this award. Like we're all basically sitting there freaking out. Like, how are we going to do this? I don't have enough budget. I've got so much, right? And so let's be real and help people out.
yeah, the one that cringes me on LinkedIn when people go, this particular scenario reminded me of how I do B2B sales in 2026. This is what I learned. And they give you 5 bullet points. You're like, please do unfollow. I don't want to hear all that. As someone that's been in marketing for a long time, what would be your number one tip for, a new founder in the marketing space that is coming into agency life in 2026?
Take a deep breath and have some tequila on the side. I think that would be my
And some
It's gonna
tacos as
be
well.
like it's gonna be a challenging ride. It is not for the faint of heart, but it is so rewarding. I find it so rewarding because for me, it's all about the people part. Am I allowed to say it's not about the like marketing tactic, right? For me, it's 100% about the people. We help our clients be more successful, and like, are my team members enjoying their experience at Creo? If those two things are happening, the rest will sort itself out. Everybody's motivated by different things, but yeah, no, it's not easy. Don't do it if you want to like take calls from the beach.
This has been one of my favorite episodes because it's just been so
Thanks.
raw, been so innocent, and so refreshing as well. I hope everyone enjoys the episode. And if you have enjoyed it, please check out Gayle and all the links that she's provided. I'll share those in the description. Go and check out her podcast as well, which I'll certainly be doing. And if you like my podcast, then please like, subscribe, and share as well. This is the Sheer Growth Podcast,
Absolutely.
and
Send it.
that's it. That's it. So thanks again for listening. Thanks again, Gayle.
Thanks, James.